I'm back. Sorry about taking so long. That was I had to go do something. So anyway, I'm back. Here to play Golden Sun. We should be able to play all the way through to the Mercury Lighthouse, like I was saying before. So right here we're at the shop at the moment, and I'm gonna go in a. This is a repair system. Sometimes items can break. It's not very often. But we're going to look at some of these items, like the Witch's Wand, because it's basically just a direct upgrade to the Magic Rod. Having the sleep debuff is nice, but if we want Ivan to attack, we have the Magic Rod to get the sleep on them. Depending on what we need, it might be useful, but eh. The Shaman's Rod is also really good. I mean, it's not great, but it's what Ivan would be using before. And it does a decent job on the way over. The longsword that we have, again, the bandit sword is just better, even though it's got lower damage, just because of that proc for the double hit. And then we're gonna put battle axes on. I don't think I want to put a battle axe on Isaac. Actually, I could put a heavy mace on Garrett. I think that's what I'm gonna do. And then the Hunter's Sword we can give to Ivan if we want him to have a little short sword. Which again, aw man, it's stronger than the heavy mace. So, he's gonna have the Hunter's Sword now. And then the Broadsword is just a huge upgrade to the Longsword. So, anyway, I just wasted a ton of money doing that. But that's just how life happens, I guess. Alright. Anyway, we got our game tickets, and I think we're going to progress. We're going to go get some armor real fast. The leather armor, good. Just put on the stuff we need to put on. The travel robe is good for like the casters in the class, which would be Mia and Ivan. And then the bronze shield is just a direct upgrade to the wooden shields. And leather gloves take the place of shields as well, like hand protection. Right now I'm just trying to look for all the best defensive gear that I can give to everybody. Just because I don't want anybody to be lacking in protection, since, again, the enemies do hit pretty hard. But we're out of gold, because I spent so much of it on swapping out items. So that was my own fault, but that's what I get for not remembering exactly how strong every single weapon is in the game. But we'll continue. So I don't think we need to go to an inn. I'm just going to cast Cure a couple times just to give everybody some max HP, top everybody off. And then we're going to run over, taking this top path because we want to go get the Wind Gin. So cast the Whirlwind real fast. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to move this pillar. It's not hard, you know, simple puzzle. And here is the Wind Gin. Oh, no fight for it. Huh, I thought we had to fight it. I couldn't remember that. But this is Gust. I remember mentioning that Gust was one of the genies that we needed for wind, and it gives Ivan a double attack. So that's kind of nice if we need to use it. The double attack that does proc doesn't affect Ivan's... Oh man, I can't remember what I was going to say. I don't think it goes off of Ivan's attack, and it won't proc the weapon specials that are on there. So she mentions that the path to Kolima is gone, so we can't go that way. So we can just talk back to the queen right there, and they're trying to build a palace with all the wood from the treant tree. So I mentioned earlier that we can use it for picking up these nuts, and that's basically what it does. It serves more purposes, I believe, in the Lost Age, but for here it's a very simple puzzle thing so that we can pick things off from trees. Alright. So now that we're in Bilibin, we can go over this way. And I don't remember if it's right here or if it's on a different peninsula, but there's a Djinn that's in the wild. So we're going to pick that up. So while I'm kind of searching for this guy, I think what I'm going to do is kind of just talk about other stuff. I've been watching Once Upon a Time recently, watching it with my girlfriend, and so we're not too far in. We're at season 3, which I don't know if anybody's watched it before, but if you have, essentially we're on the second part after the mid-season finale, and it brings in spoilers if you haven't watched it, I guess. Spoilers. It brings in the Wicked Witch of the West from Oz, and it's, I don't know, it's not my favorite season that I've been watching through, but it's not bad by any particular means. It's just not my favorite. But I've been watching through it. I don't, the way that I feel about the show for the most part, it's definitely a good show. Like, I don't despise it. A lot of the characters are really fun. Characters like Rumpelstiltskin are really they're really dynamic, and I like that their motivations are so unclear. And so these characters, as they're progressing through time, they just, I don't know, they just have this feeling of holistic, like, freedom, I guess is the best way to say it. They just feel right. And not every character obviously is like this, but a few characters really stand out. You know, like I said before, I think I said before already, but Captain Hook, Rumpelstiltskin, these characters, they really stand out as strong. I'm not too sure. Not too sure whether or not the characters themselves are. Oh, sorry. I lost train of thought. Basically, what I was saying was the show revolves around magical characters from different fairy tales and whatnot. So it revolves mostly along those lines, taking into account like all the people from all the fairy tales. Obviously, I said, like, you know, the Wizard of Oz was one of the ones that was happening, but it's a lot of Disney fairy tales that were going on mostly. I think maybe it's on this side, the Djinn. I do remember that there is one here. Could be thinking of Lost Age, so we're just gonna have to find out. But yeah, again, it's been really engaging for me. I've been really enjoying watching through all of it. I've been watching the show kind of just come into its own. But there are definitely weak parts of the series. I think the first season does the show very, very well. And it kind of made me sad because the way that the first season kind of progresses, it sets it up to be like this really long, you know, show about like how this character finally comes into her own and really believes in, you know, herself. Not only just like the characters that she's interacting with, but, you know, herself. And that's very important for like characterization. And I think it's just so cool that they were able to do that well with people that, you know, normally aren't very well known within a fairy tale story. But the first season, it does well because it's got like mystery in it. It's got a lot of information that's being withheld from the audience, and so you're kind of looking at it through just the main character Emma Swan's perspective, and because of that perspective, that point of view that you kind of get. Yes, there are times where it switches, where point of view you can see the other characters and how they're interacting and what their thoughts are, but that's secondary. It's mostly centered around Emma Swan, the main character, the main female character, the female lead. It's mostly centered around her and how she interacts with everybody and slowly becomes the savior that the show alludes to immediately. Oh, maybe I was thinking of the turtle boots and not a gym. That's my bad. Yeah, that's my bad. I definitely was thinking of the turtle boots. Strong boots. They just make you slow, so you gotta keep that in mind. I don't want to go to. I want to go to Kolima, but I also don't. So anyway, that's the city that we're gonna head to afterward. Once we deal with the Mercury Lighthouse, we'll find everything that we need. I might actually go to an inn to restore PP, just because I want Ivan to be up, since we're going to be fighting a little bit of stronger enemies as we're going forward. Oh, I gotta go to the inn. I'm just gonna flee. I'm actually still trying to work on like how to really speak, so that streaming isn't so hard. I think I'm gonna adjust my mic very slightly here, but how to really speak in a mic and to other people, and not say all the time. Really keep thoughts focused and moving forward, even though I'm distracted. I know that it's kind of hard. It's really hard right now because it's still something that's brand new to me. But I think I'll be able to get it. Again, it's easier to do videos that aren't live because I can edit my voice. I know that, at least for me, I'm somebody who needs to re-record everything I say like 3 or 4 times, because even when I'm reading from a script, I'll make mistakes, and if I make a mistake, I don't like hearing it unless I'm on a tight deadline or a deadline that I've set for myself. So having those mistakes in the the final product makes me a little upset, but that's why I've been trying to avoid doing that. I'm gonna give these two. I could give it to Big Bow. I think I'm just gonna give it to Buff. It just drops his agility a little bit more, which works on speed. Anyway, but like what I just did right now when it comes to the items, keeping track of what I'm saying and how I'm going forward with the story or what's going on screen, and talking to people and keeping my thoughts straight without losing the train of thought, it's difficult. I didn't realize it was going to be this hard. I've never really had to speak live before, but now that I am, it definitely stands out to me about how difficult it is for me to continue doing that. Not that I'm going to stop, but it's just, it is hard. So, we're going to, oh man, I can't remember the name of the cave at all. Once we get there, it'll pop up, and there's an item there called the Elven Rapier. And once I get that, I'm going to be swapping out Isaac's current weapon for it. I like having Isaac with special weapons. I could give something to Garrett, and it's not like Garrett having special weapons is bad, but Isaac's attack stat is just so much higher. Just look at these stats that they have. Isaac's attack, yes, it is small right now. You know, his attack is 72 defense, 58 agility, 50 luck 3. But Garrett's stats are kind of just weaker in every single regard. Yes, Garrett has higher attack, but he also has a stronger weapon at the moment. If you notice when we were in the shop and looking at Isaac's different like equipment sets and things like that, his stats would have been higher than Garrett's. Garrett is just, I don't know, not the same kind, not on the same level as Isaac is for whatever reason. And I believe it might be because of, no, it's not because of the gym. That only makes a three level difference. But we're gonna actually swap these out a little bit. This, if you notice when we're swapping Jin, also is how the class system in the game works. The class system will change stats. You notice the Brute class, for instance, increases attack substantially for buff, and it also increases agility, whereas it lowers most of the other physical stats as well as the synergy stats. So that's something to keep in mind. But as I said before, magic in the game is affected by different things, and we need the magic. We need magic growth spell, for instance, in particular, to be able to maneuver through the rest of this game. So now that we've done that, I'm actually gonna I might actually just leave them where they're at, just because it gives a little bit more attack damage for everybody, and they're mostly physically attacking right now because there was a lot of enemies all at once. We weren't physically attacking so much, but now that we are going to, it'll make it a little different. And there it is. There's the Elven Rapier. If you notice right here, there's a little half circle. When we get the spell reveal, or the synergy reveal, it's gonna change things up. But here you go. Here's my example. The Elven Rapier increases his attack to 116, where it'll only increase buffs by 5. It increases ours by 40. Almost 40. So now that we've got that, it's really good to keep that in mind. We'll sell the Bandit Sword and all the other trash in our inventory at some point, but not at the moment. Alright. So now we have some stronger enemies. These guys are pretty physically adept. But, ooh, look, we get that proc for stun. Oh, that's really convenient. Vorpal Slash right at the beginning, little cutscene. 69 damage, kills the ghoul. So that's really convenient that we got the stun from Ivan when we did, because then it meant that we weren't going to be able to take any damage that turn, because we were taking out that ghoul regardless. I should have had somebody attack the other ooze, since we knew that I was going to die. The ooze is also water elemental. So we need to keep that in mind. If you noticed, when the ooze attacked Garrett, we actually had the triple exclamation marks pop up. So he's doing more damage to Garrett than he would have if he hit the other people. Whereas Garrett resisted that attack, which makes him take a little bit less damage. Ooh, that did 33 right there. I'm actually going to use some synergy, since that's just kind of what we got at the moment. We want to be able to take out all 3 of these guys at the same time. Blast is a fun spell. If you notice that Gnome is resisting it, but Blast is a very fun spell when it comes to the game. I just like the animation. It's really like impactful. It just looks good. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna keep going forward. So, going through the rest of this cave isn't too difficult. Again, I could use Blast, but it's 2 enemies, so I'm just gonna physically attack them. Oh man, if that ooze keeps hitting Garrett, though, we're in a bad spot. Everybody keeps focusing him down, which is not good. I messed up. So what I should have done right there is, since I knew that the ooze was gonna be fighting, we were gonna be fighting the ooze. I should have had Garrett focus on the other one. But, yeah, gosh, he's just taking a ton of damage. He'll actually die if this ooze doesn't fall. But the ooze fell. You can actually chain farm oozes if you really wanted to. I'm actually going to swap their stats. Give them a little bit more defense, give them a little bit more luck, more HP, just everything. But you can chain farm oozes if you really want to, because they'll split occasionally, and then just keep doing that. They give decent XP if you wanted to do it that way, but it's not very well advised. Right here is a small puzzle. You can move these little lanterns. If you see these little like dots on the side, like these ones that I'm running over right now, these dots basically just mean you can move anything in between these 2 areas. And so you can use that little fire torch to melt that ice pillar that's right there. At a later point in the game, you can actually use this ice pillar, there's a little ice pillar path that you can take advantage of to find, is it a rare? It might be a gem, but there's definitely something hidden in there. It's the reason why you need reveal when you come back through here. Oh, cool. 1-for-1 trade for HP. So we're just gonna try and knock this ghoul out. And that was a critical hit right there. So that's nice. Everybody has access to critical hits. I don't know off the top of my head how critical hits are actually how they function in the game. Like, I don't know what procs them. I know the luck stat has an effect on that, I think, but the game isn't very it's not very like forthcoming with that information. This place is cool. You have maulers, you have oozes. I love the way the maulers look because they're just giant walking bears. It makes me very happy. They're also wind resistant, so that's something to keep in mind. But I believe they are weak to fire, yeah. Most things in the game are weak to fire. I think it's to kind of balance the fact that Garrett's synergy stat just isn't the greatest. I don't know exactly how it calculates damage for that, but that's just the way it happens. Alright, taking out that ooze, and now we're gonna just keep fighting. You know, we get that stun voltage coming out from the Witch's Wand, get that Vorpal Slash going out. Just, I love the little animations that it gives for the special moves. It's just very fun to see. I absolutely love it. I'm gonna put another cure up. I think Kinos needs it. Single gnome. He's dying this turn, I'm pretty sure. Not before casting Flare, which Kinos is weak to. Good to keep in mind as well that Kinos is weak to fire. It will come into play when you start fighting like Saturos and Minardi, who are the strong fire mages of the game. But for now, it doesn't really matter. We're just going to try and fight these guys, do as much damage as we possibly can, take them out. If you notice, even the palette switches for Earthquake to match the tundra that's underneath us, which I think is a nice little touch. It's not like it's a very well animated thing, but it's definitely cool. I'm new in email. Alright. Try not to catch a flu. There's a Djinn up here that I want to get for Garrett. And I forgot to put the snowman down. So you gotta put the snowman down to get the Djinn that's within the frozen waterfall. Another vial. So again, you're supposed to come to this point after you deal with the treant in Kolimo Forest. I just really didn't want to have to wait to that point. I like having my full team of people when dealing with large groups of enemies. It just really helps to have everyone around to knock everyone out. I don't like waiting for that point because it means that everybody can attack an enemy, because normally you'll find groups of 4 or 5. If it's 5, then Earthquake hits perfectly fine. But if it's 3 people attacking 5 or 3 people attacking 4, somebody gets left over, and I just don't like that. I'm gonna give Fever over to Garrett, and you'll notice that because he has 2 of the same Djinn, it actually increases his job title. So he goes from guard to soldier. And in this case, he gets a ton more HP, gets a ton more PP, a ton more attack, a ton more defense, a ton more agility. Whereas, if it was just Forge on his own, it wouldn't be making that big of a difference. But this also means that you can give people your Djinn now. You can only have certain amounts of Djinn on you at a time. So if you have an offset amount of the Djinn, it's going to throw everything off balance, and you're going to have to toss a couple onto a different player. So you got to make sure that you're finding all of them throughout the game to make sure things are keeping up. I need to remember where Mia is at. I believe I don't remember if I need to activate a trigger to get her to start going. But anyway, eventually she'll be here helping that old man. Yeah. I gotta go get blue. Okay, so that's the trigger. Alright, and I'm going to take the empty bottle. That's what you're going to need to pick up one of the key items later on in the game, the Water of Life. Or not a Water of Life, but the water from Okay, now blue just left. We get that trigger, which means now we can go over here. But not the water of life, but ooh, we get lucky pepper in here. I think. No, no lucky pepper. But the water's at the top of the lighthouse, which is also important to have. I don't remember where she's at. There it is. There's the lucky pepper. I knew lucky pepper was in this town. Just can't remember where. I'm trying to find Blue, but I can't find her. Or Mia. And you can't buy weapons or anything until everybody's healed. So we're gonna have to go through the town with what we've got. Yeah, so we're just gonna continue on forward. I believe there's a lucky medal in one of these graves. I could be wrong. We want lucky medals. Again, there's a game that requires them, and it'll be worth it because it gives very, very rare items to us very easily. Where is she? Get blue. Gosh, I wish I remember where she was, how to get to her. Let's see. Her dad's a lumberjack, which further cements the connection between Colima and Emil, as well as the Mercury Lighthouse. Just a lot of interconnectedness within the game. Let's see, do I need to talk to the girl? Yes, there it is. There it is. Okay, that's the trigger that I was waiting for. The town's not big enough, so if she was walking there, we technically would have seen her. But there we go, yeah, that triggers the cutscene that I was waiting for. So I don't know if this is actually her grandparents, but she does refer to him as Grandpa. I don't know if that's like a translation thing, and that's just how she refers to old people, but that's just how it works here, I guess. And there it is. That's the light from the lighthouse turning on. And then Alex, if you remember, he was the blue-haired dude who took the gems from us in the beginning. And now she runs off to the lighthouse, so we get to go play catch-up. The tile set for the lighthouse is pretty cool. It's definitely a different look than everything else. And right here is going to be an elevator once we finish. But the way that the lighthouse kind of works and looks, it's just very nice to look at. It's just really aesthetically pleasing. It definitely feels like a grand structure as we're going through. Yeah, I can hear it. But you can't move this statue. And that's why we're gonna move it for her so she can leap over and get to the door. I mean, we could see her synergy even before. I mean, she's got healing magic that opens up the doors and stuff, but I guess she didn't know synergy because it was passed down. Like the people of Vale, yes, it sounds exactly like that. And there it is. Ply opens it up, and this kind of sets open the rest of the game's the way that the game kind of functions afterward as well. where Ply is going to be used as a method of progressing through this lighthouse. The game does really well with tutorials and visual tutorials in the game, letting you know what you need to do. It doesn't ever say you need to use Ply on this. It's just, it should be something that is implied, in, not, you know, no pun intended, it's implied through the rest of the play. You can't get past the lizard man until you fight him, so, you know, just fight him. Here's a volcano, and here's some plasma. Ow. Yep, and there's volcano, and that takes him out. That lizard man is very weak to fire, so volcano is just going to do a ton of damage. But sadly, Garrett is very slow because I put those turtle boots on him, which I guess he doesn't need, so I'll just take them off. I'll only equip them. When I was still very new to the game itself, I used to put the turtle boots just on Ivan so that Isaac could attack first, which is silly because Ivan is just faster. Take advantage of that stat. Can't get past that statue, and so you move it again. And she says like we saved her, but we just kind of moved something, which again she doesn't have access to. But we have business in the lighthouse, so we need to continue in with her. And I think this is when she joins our party. So now we'll see if we grind it up enough. Yeah, she's level 10, so we're perfect level for coming into this. One of these waterfalls has a hidden door behind it. Oh, maybe it's not in this room, but definitely once we progress forward, waterfalls will start having hidden things behind them all. We have little small puzzles here. We get introduced to the fact that moving those things will push the water out, and that's how we'll progress through the game. At least in this little zone. And now we can't reach that treasure chest unless the water stops. So using that knowledge that we have that, you know, the pipes will push the water through, we need to go find a way to get rid of one of the pipes. So that's what I'm going to do. It doesn't give you anything incredible. So right here is the zone, the little piece. It doesn't give you anything incredible. It's a psi crystal, which you can get as rare drops from enemies. But if you want to sell the psi crystal, it's worth a lot of money. So that's normally what I'll end up doing with them, because it's just, I'd rather have more money when you have a regenerating number like synergy, or PP, synergy points. Just because, again, as we're walking, we're getting more and more synergy, you know? Yeah, if you notice, we're just slowly regaining it as we're walking over on the map. Now that we have access to this area without getting pushed around by all the water, we can continue on forward. Oh man, there it is. Found my water. Alright, now that I got my water, let's continue. So, there's little like jumping off points right here. We notice that. Let me just skip over the side. That's actually what we need to do at this point. We need to move a statue all the way down and handle that. But now that we have 4 people, fighting is going to be so much easier. Because if anything was surviving our initial onslaught, which not much does, we were kind of well grinded at this point. We could be higher level, obviously, but we're pretty well grinded. And level 11 Squire, I believe 13 is the level that I'm waiting for. Because at 13 we get a very special move. But anyway, so we got that. Move this statue all the way to the other side. This is going to take a little while, so I'm just going to turbo through it. We put it over there, and now we have this little divot right here. Take that. We can also, I believe there's a ladder right here. Yeah, there's a staircase right there. And now that we've got that, what I'm going to do is physically attack 3 of them, and then plasma the last one. Mia has a rod. You can give her a mace as well, but it really doesn't make any sense. Just keep her with her casting ability. She also has a witch's wand, which is kind of nice. Gives everybody the access to get poisoned and paralyzes off. And then there's the Elven Rapier, which is going to just annihilate everything else. We got to level 11, and Din's 11 as well. So everybody's about the same level now. We're looking good. Alright. And now we go down. So going down, this is going to place us in the heart. He who honors the heart of the goddess shall stand at the center of it all. So that's kind of like some flavor text. You're supposed to cast Fly on it like you've been learning about, you know, as Mia's been going through the rest of the whole dungeon. You know, she plied to open up the door. She plied to heal the man. Just do what you saw, like, not 5 minutes earlier, and you'll be fine. And now we activated a thing that'll give us 3 jumps across the water. This is a very fun little thing to mess around with. Oh, calamari. Or the cuttlefish. They're fun to mess with. I like them. I think those are eyes it has on like the front of its head. I like their little character models. Or their little sprite works. It makes me happy. Anyway, so they're all going down. We're not going to let them survive too much. But again, you get 3 jumps on each of those little pads. So it's very convenient. It means that you can solve puzzles like that. So 1, 2, 3. So I guess it's total 4 jumps. So 1, 2, 3, and then you get your last jump. But you can't step on normal platforms, because if you step on normal platforms, it gets rid of your jumps. If you look at that, yeah. So you got to keep that in mind. You can't just skip through an area by jumping on the normal platforms to rush through it. And there it is. Cuttlefish is dead. So again, when they're coming in one by one, just physically attack them. It's just easier that way. And then we're going to get this treasure chest, which forces us to restart the whole puzzle. But now that we've done it already, it shouldn't be too hard to backtrack. And it's not like it takes too long to do either. Especially now that we know what we're doing. Again, I like the puzzles in this game. The puzzles in this game always feel like they're really interactive. They're not super challenging, so it's not like you're coming into here and you're like racking your brain to find out how to do it. But you engage with the environment in a very fun way that I guess I just don't really see too much in other games. In other JRPGs at least. And I really enjoy that the environment is part of the fun of the game. You get to find like hidden things, or you get to use different mechanics to jump around, and that's just fun. So we don't really need the 3 jumps to get to that point, but that's just the way it works. So right here, I believe, maybe not this one, this one. This is where the secret entrance is. But let me go progress just a little bit more. No, okay, yeah. So this is the secret entrance. If you notice, this is a big chasm, but you've seen these little lion heads. They've been spitting out water throughout the rest of the dungeon, so we can assume that we need to do something here. And that's exactly what it is. So here's the little first puzzle that we gotta handle. Nothing too difficult. It's not, this game isn't, again, it's not rocket science. It's very simple, but you just move the things into the right pattern so that all the water can connect. I know I'm talking bad about this, but again, it's been a while since I've done this, and the next part I get to, because I think there's another water puzzle I need to do, I'm probably going to mess up, so, you know, maybe I'll eat my words. So, we'll see. Where are we going up? Oh, and then we're fighting some sirens, but again, or a single siren, but since it's only one, we just knock it out. Glowers miserably at you. Dropping our attack. I don't like it. But stun wand coming in, killing that siren. You notice she just faded away without losing color. It's because she was resistant to that damage. Another little thing. Okay, so this is what it was. It was the statue. So we need to get this. There's 3 pillars that we need to activate, and in a specific order. We need to activate this far pillar right here, the one that I'm running around, and we need to get the center pillar that's in the center of this. I'm sorry. Then we need to get this one right here to activate, and then the center one. So far, right, and then center. So that's how we're gonna do this. So far, this right. And then we go over forward and we do center. So we can't get the center immediately, but we can in a second. If you notice where that placement is for the little, I guess, pyramid stop, it'll stop the thing right there, which causes which will cause the next pipe to hit that and just stop right there, dead center. Easy enough of a puzzle, nothing too complicated. And there it is. Now it drops the statue right, well, not in the center, but where we can move it around on that bottom area. Very convenient for us. So you take the stairs down, and because it's already down there, it's now triggered and then activates. We'll be able to activate this door. There it is. I don't remember if there's anything hidden behind any of these statues. I'm still going to move them all. There it is. There's one thing hidden. Yep. And we get a net. Not bad. Another healing item. We may need to actually take advantage of those in the fight. So I'm actually going to... Well, first I'm going to get the Lucky Pepper. I'm going to use it on Kinos. He's already one of our stronger units. Might as well just, you know, double down on that. I'm going to give Garrett all the nuts. And then I'm going to give Ivan all the vials. Because Kinos has his own healing magic, I'm okay if he's not the one with all the healing items. But the other two definitely need them, just in case anybody goes low and they need to heal. Alright. Then we move that statue that's far away using the move. I've got it mapped to one of the right buttons. And this is the part that's really counterintuitive. The entire wall moves with that water, which is very strange, but how it happens. Now, in one of these waterfalls is a Mercury Djinn that we need to fight. So it's going to fight us. And it's a Mercury Genie, sorry. So I'm just going to use Flint. I'm going to Forge, get everybody's attack stat up, Gust, and then we're going to... I'm not going to Fizz, but I'm definitely going to do all that. I don't remember if Ice is a strong physical hit move. I genuinely don't remember that. But Flint's going to come in, deal a ton of damage, and it ran away from us. So we need to leave and reset it. I've not had that happen. I don't think ever. Normally running isn't too bad, especially when you're right there. But it can suck for that to happen when you're in the middle of you know, like a rare enemy. Because sometimes these will be rare overworld monsters. And so if they're rare or overworld monsters, it is hot garbage for them to just run away from you in the middle of battle. That does not do a lot of damage. Blue recovers PP passively right now because she has a special piece of plate mail on that lets her do that. So Spire's going to come out, we're going to Volcano, we're going to Plasma, and then I think we're going to Fizz herself. Plasma's coming down, mini boss doing lots of damage. He hits for about 30 HP, but fallen. And so we get the new ability, and I believe this one is a physical hit. Yeah, it's Sleep. So Sleep hits for a small physical hit for everybody, and she goes from Water Seer to Scribe, increasing her attack, defense, agility. You know, getting that second stage because she has two of the same Djinn in her thing. There is a mimic in this dungeon somewhere, and I just can't remember for the life of me where it's at. Look at these harpies. Let's take them out. Tundra's a very strong ice move. It's going to be one of the strongest ones for a long time. But these harpies are very weak to wind, which means they're going to be resistant to earth, which is unfortunate. Ooh, that did a lot of damage. Ooh, these guys are hitting really hard. And Tundra, freezing them up, taking damage, taking them out. Good to know. So, gonna cure that. Give everybody some cures. Playa is just stronger, but I don't really care. I'd rather have Mia have her mana for other things. It's not like these fights are particularly difficult. Again, these enemies just hit pretty hard. Yeah, so 2 more sirens. Oh, sleep. I used to think those were bags, now I understand that those are sheep that are falling down. But drop in attack by a lot. But she critical hits through it. Alright. We're gonna try to make sure that we take out 1 siren at least. Ooh, froth. Fun water move. I really like the little bubbles that come out from it as well. But sleep coming out again and knocks Kenosis out. Alright. We're just gonna physically attack this one. I should just use magic, it's just gonna be more effective. Especially now that we're getting all these attack drops on us. Because 25 attack is a big amount. Cool. I think the mimic may be in here. All mimics in this game also have a guaranteed, like, a rare item drop, which is good. Or, not a rare item drop, but you've got set items to them. But it's still nice to be able to have something that's... Ah, fuck, I didn't want to run from that. It's still nice to have something that's so consistent. So, coming through this, that's the end of the dungeon. So, I'm actually going to run back, try to find that... because it's magic armor that the Jin has here. So I'm just gonna turbo through, try to get to that magic armor, because I do want to pick that up before we fight Sadaros and Minardi. Because one, we're not super high level. I normally like coming into this. Ah, messed up. I normally like coming into this at a higher level, at about 13, and we're not 13 at the moment. But if I'm not 13, I want to at least not grind, but I want to at least get my, get that armor, so that we're not coming into anything too weak. Because nobody wants to just get knocked out in a single round, it's just not fun. We're just in the plasma, again, just using all of our spells. Oh, that's not good. And that's what I get for not healing people up. And so now, we need to retreat. So... that's what I'm going to do. Get to the center, the beginning of the map, use retreat to go, because I just don't want to level up without them, and I'd rather have everybody just get revived. So yeah, it looks like level times 20. Whatever your level is times 20 is how much it costs for revives. Which is, again, which is something that I mentioned last episode, which was, or the last stream, which was that, you know, things get more expensive the longer you're... the longer that, the more experience you get or the more times you revive. So I just wasn't sure if it was connected to level or how exactly it works, and it looks like it's connected to level. Alright, and we got some earthquakes. We could just make sure that we maul one of these enemies. Maul one of the maulers. They are doing a lot of damage. But we're going to be dealing just as much back to them. So I'm actually going to use Ply since it's a little bit more costly of a move, but again, she heals up in mana in the battle, so physically attacking is a terrible decision. She's also going to be our designated healer for the most part. She gets Wish, which is a full party heal. Doesn't heal for as much as Ply does for a single target heal, but it's still just really nice to be able to cover your bases. And I believe the magic armor is this way. I messed up. Yeah, it's this way. Magic armor. Here's the mimic. There it is. The treasure chest is really a mimic. Unfortunate. Alright, so. I'm just going to hit him with all of our heavy hitting damage moves. He's resistant to wind. So that's unfortunate since Ivan's got the highest damage that we've got. But look at the big, like, antlion mandible that this has. He's weak to fire, which again, for Garrett is nice. We're just going to go hit him real hard, I think, with everything that we've got. Yeah, so he just resists that really hard. Ooh, dealing a ton of damage, 40 damage just about. Another little mini boss. These mimics are very strong, and having their health out as high as it is not good. So yeah, we're just gonna do this. We've got all these summon damages, so might as well take advantage of them. Get more wind power bonuses, some Venus up in there. And there it is, and now blue is in the level 11 water seer, and we get some water of life. Oh, it wasn't magic armor? Oh, I could have swore it was magic armor. Oh, is it? The magic armor's here, isn't it? But water of life, not bad. We're gonna need that for in the actual fight itself against Sataros and Minardi, if that's what we so desire. There it is. There's the Synergy armor. Very strong. Boost PP. Just, I'm gonna use it on Isaac. It just makes sense. I could give it to Garrett since he has a very low amount of PP going into this, but if you notice, we get 61 PP, which let's see, we take it off from 45, so we get about 15 extra PP, which is another 2 uses or so of Earthquake, or up to almost 5 more cures per fight. So that's just something to keep in mind as we're progressing forward. I'm probably going to grind just a little bit. I want to get everybody to 13. I really want to get Ragnarok as a spell before going in to fight Sataros and Minardi. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. So now we're turned on turbo, just to get that done. Take that out real fast. Oops. We'll have Plasma going on and then Tundra. I think that'll be the right call. Yeah. These enemies aren't too strong, the ones that we're fighting. Plus, this is going by pretty fast, so as that we're able to get a lot of mana back. You notice Garrett's got Heat Wave already. Very, very strong move. Happy that we got that. Alright, cool. And then we get Stun Voltage. Move back and forth, kill some Maulers. Oh, alright. And then both of those guys go down. So again, grinding is not too difficult by any stretch of the imagination. It's very nice that it's as easy and refreshing as it is to do. There we go. There we go. And then we got Sleep on Ivan. Good move. I don't think I can try to put Sataros and Minardi to sleep. I don't know if you can exactly, but it's worth a shot if we can. I'll actually probably do that with Ivan for a couple turns when I've got everybody to 13. And again, mana is not an issue. Get Tundra out. I'm just gonna keep going. So yeah, I remember spending a lot of time playing this game when I was young, and my first time playing through all the way from the beginning to end, I was very, very well grinded. Grinding again was something that I always found really pleasing. Even now, I find it a very relaxing thing to do. So grinding has never been something that I've had an apprehension to. I'm gonna just take these guys out since... There you go. I've never had an apprehension in grinding, and the cuttlefish just joined the battle. That's cool. But not having an apprehension in grinding meant that I was about level 50 when I finished the game, which is ridiculous. That is a very high grinded level. You can finish this game realistically at about level 20, 28, almost 30. I think on one of my runs that was all I was. And the game isn't particularly hard, but grinding definitely gives you the stats that you need. I jumped too many times. So, but if you don't jump, you drown, and then it just teleports you back to the last place you step foot on, which is nice. It's very nice. It's very forgiving. You don't have to start all the way at the beginning. There we go. All right. There we go. Now we fight some lizard men. You know my speed. Yeah, lots of PP getting back, or getting a lot of PP back as we're just running around here. Very nice, very convenient. Alright, get all that done. Nice. Keep going forward. Might as well. Don't see a reason not to. Oh, we also got Ragnarok, which I'll probably demonstrate at some point, but not right now. Once we got some single target enemies to really focus on. Which is the boss actually is going to be a single target enemy. So keeping that in mind is going to be very important. So yeah, just use some earthquakes. I might actually plasma and then ply in the middle of battle. Ply in battle can have a damage rule, which means that it doesn't always do the same amount of healing, whereas when you're out of battle, it always does the same amount of heals. So it's up to you. I mean, if you do it in battle, I think you, for the most part, will roll higher than what... you'll roll higher for the amount of heals than normal, but you still have to waste a turn in battle to do so. There you go. And then she's back up to max PP because she just got that regeneration. Let's see what item she has. Is it... I don't think it is anything in particular, actually. It's just nice for her to have that PP regen. Because it's not the travel robe, or else Ivan would also have the PP regen. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see if it's anything she has in particular. Wooden cap? No. Yeah, she just regens PP, which is nice. It could be a benefit of being in the Mercury Lighthouse. I don't remember if she gets this outside of the lighthouse as well. It's been a while. Alright, looks like everybody's level 13 now. No, not blue. So we're just gonna fly real fast. Somebody took some damage, I think. Oh, no, never mind. She's hurt. Alright, Lizard Man, take him out. Gnome, take them out. Cuttlefishes and other enemies, oozes, take them out. And a lot of Mia's magic as well is going to be 3-hit units, or 3-hit range, 3 enemy range. Sorry, and so that kind of throws things off a little bit because she's one of the few allies that only has that. I believe she can get a few other spells depending on if her class changes, like Froth Bubble, and that helps. But outside of that, which again means that her main class needs to change, she doesn't really get too much. Whereas like Isaac gets Gaia, Grand Gaia, Earthquakes, and moves like that to be able to do a ton of damage to the enemy. Yeah, and not all magic's created equal. Some moves, like I kind of mentioned Gaia, Grand Gaia already. The original Gaia that comes in is, I don't believe it's as strong as even Quake. So it's a very weak spell in general, but once you get it to its highest levels, then the spell really stands out as being unique. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I just that was my recollection from playing through last time. It has been a little while, I will admit. So, coming through, just gotta move these platforms and everything again. Simple puzzle. And now we're on the final stretch. Going to find Satiros, going to take him out for realsies this time. Or at least that's what we think. Oh, spoilers. But the man who once knocked us all out and took us out in a single hit that's not going to be the same amount of strength as he's going to be coming in with this time. So thankfully he'll be a little bit more easy to handle, especially since Minardi's not going to be around with him as well. And there were some harpies. Take them out. And Vorpal Slash comes through. Very strong move. Absolutely love it. I love the way it looks. Alright, and then harpies down. And Big Bow's Witch's Wand, that's out of stun voltage. Killing him with a special attack. Alright, so 100 HP, might as well just give it all to heals right now. And we're just gonna keep going. In the second game, it's kind of funny because the character you start off with in that game is Jenna. And Jenna is actually your dedicated healer. She's got some cool magey spells, but she definitely fits the cleric role in the same way that Mia fits the cleric role in this game. But it's kind of nice that even though they are technically, you know, clerics, they still have the ability to deal as much damage as they want. You know, they're not limited by the fact that that's what their role is. Those froth spells hit pretty hard though. It also doesn't help that Ivan is as frail as he is. You know, a strong breeze can knock him down, and that's really unfortunate. Oh, we got some crystal powder, which will use a ice spell for us. A tier 2 ice spell, if I remember correctly. So, could be useful, especially for Garrett. I don't remember if those items are really particularly useful, if they're like the strongest, you know, in comparison. I guess if Satiros is resisting, if he's resisting the normal damage that we're dealing to him, especially the fire damage, it might be wise to give it a shot. So I think I might use it on Garrett and just see, just for experimental sake. Knocking out Kinos. But the siren should be going down as well. Cool. That's very convenient. Alright. So, as you can imagine, the idea is to cast Apply on this thing. Another cool tidbit is that normally when you cast Apply in any other situation, it requires you, it'll just, you know, target your allies. But if you're in front of one of the triggers for Apply, it'll just allow you to use Ply on the overworld without you hitting any of your allies. Alright, cool. And then this is where we learn that we just walk up the waterfall. Everybody kind of grossly comes out of the body, and then we're all going up. Isaac can't swim, so you know, his character flails as he goes through, whereas the other ones will go up very calmly. A little bit of a character moment there. Kind of nice. Fades to white. Cutscene time. There's a lot of flickering in these games. I've always wondered why exactly they flicker. Here if you notice the Synergy Stone in front of us, it's basically to say, hey, you're about to fight something, save, and get ready. And the Synergy Stone fully restores the PP of the party. Very nice, very nice. Let's keep going. Again, the flickering I mentioned slightly. There's a lot of it in this game, and I don't quite know exactly what effect they were going for about that. It just kind of makes it look weird. Like, I don't think it makes it look bigger. I just think it just looks strange that it flickers like that. And the lighthouse has been lit. It doesn't look like it's really like producing light. It's just kind of like an orb of something that's there. Yeah. And then we let her know that we got no, we're not healers, buddy. Yeah, and here we have some parallelisms with the, you know, the different guardians. She kind of mentions the parallelisms even before, but, you know, they're guardians of their land, and now she's a guardian of her land. Oh, look at Felix, so angry. Oh, there he is. He's been waiting behind the orb the entire time. We didn't see him because he was covered by that. Even though, you know, coming from their perspective, they should have been able to see his feet behind the thing. Look at this guy, this little elf man. He's gonna be like, do you want to throw your lives away? So he's gonna want to try and kill us, which we can actually game over here. This is not a fight that you can lose. You need to win. So we need to progress through this, and we need to beat this guy, who is gonna do a ton of damage to us. It looks like there's a power struggle as Jenna doesn't want to listen to them. Yeah, Minardi's a girl. Do as she says. Good to know. Very important. Solves all my issues. I had a feeling that it was a girl. I mean, the long hair is one giveaway, but in the second game, there's the parallel with Karsten Agido? Agadio? I think it's Agido. And those two are man and woman team as well from the Fire Clan. Alright, now we have to go fight Sadaros. And we're just like, what's going on? He is very scary. Yes. Yes, I do think we can match the great Sadaros. But he's going to try and teach us all a lesson. But he doesn't really like the lighthouse because the lighthouse is weakening his abilities. So we need to keep that in mind. And here is one of the greatest fucking themes of all times. Just amazing, absolutely incredible. I love the way that it sounds. They do a rendition of this in Dark Dawn as well, with chimes, and that sounds even better. But this song just, I'm just gonna increase the volume on this really quick. But yeah. Anyway, so this guy, he's tough. He's gonna be very strong as we're coming in to fight him. He's got a cool looking sword. The way his character model looks, you know, the blue elf man. But man, he is strong. So I'm gonna use Forge to increase everybody's attack, and then I'm gonna actually give a shot at putting him to sleep. And what I'm gonna do is use Fizz preemptively on somebody so that I can do a tier 2 summon. No effect on Sadaros. Flint's coming out. Ooh, that was a lot of damage. I was hoping that he was going to attack Kinos. And then Forge coming out with an ability so that we can all get a little bit more damage. Increasing attack by 20, again, is a substantial. It's like having a new tier of weapon. But what I'm going to do instead, now that Flint's down, I'm just going to use a Ragnarok. I really like the way it looks. And we're going to have Kieran get spawned, and then I'm going to try another Sleep. And then I'm going to have him read up. So Sleep's coming out, no effect on Sadaros. And then Ragnarok, sword from the sky. You have the whole attacking animation from Isaac. I absolutely love the way it looks. Ooh, Eruption does a lot of damage. 70 damage coming through. Ooh, 153 damage right there. And then Kieran coming out. Yeah, that was a hefty price. So I'm gonna Water of Life on him, and now I'm gonna Heat Wave. And I'm gonna use Ply on Isaac, on Kinos. I just do not want him to die. Thankfully, he doesn't use an eruption this round. But man, that was a lot of damage. And Heat Wave does 68 damage with him. I'm gonna actually use a Cure Well onto Garrett, and I'm gonna have Garrett use a Crystal Powder as Big Bow prepares another sleep, hopefully landing something substantial, something. And I'm gonna have Mia use Tundra. Know if I can Sedaros. I don't know if he's immune to sleep or not, but if we can get him asleep, it would be great. Heat Flash for 51 damage. Again, Garrett does resist fire, which is nice, but man, he hurts. That Crystal Powder, 104 damage because he's weak to it. But yeah, so that was a good choice. Lots of damage coming from Garrett that round. I think I'm going to go for another Ragnarok. I'm going to have Garrett use a Forge again, just to get everybody ready. I'm going to have Ivan Gust. No, I'm not going to have him a Gust. Gust is just too weak. We're going to have him Plasma, and then we're going to have a Sleep coming from Mia so that we can drop Sedaros' attack. So Ragnarok coming out dealing 90 damage. Fireball is going to do a lot of damage. It can hit every single person on the field all at once. Sleep coming out, dropping his attack by 29. Alright, cool, good. You're going to get Forge coming out one more time, getting everybody's attack up by a little bit. What we're going to do here is I'm going to have Isaac do a Cure Well on Garrett. I'm going to have Garrett do a Fever over here. I'm going to have Ivan heal himself, and then I'm going to have Blue heal herself. I think Isaac should be alright regardless of what happens, but I just need to make sure that the other people stay alive. Yeah, and now his attack, what it was doing like 40 damage or so, is now doing 16, so good to keep in mind, and his attack returns to normal. So his attack debuff is gone, but we have a lot of things going for us. So again, I'm just going to Ragnarok, might as well. I'm going to have Garrett use another Kieran, and I guess Ivan's just going to Plasma while Mia fizzes Isaac. Fizz giving more HP. So, I mean, the little bit of strategy that we're using here is good. Oh man, Fireball's going to hurt Isaac a lot. Oh, it didn't hit him. Woo! Alright, good. Alright. Isaac's back up to max. Kieran's coming out. And Blue's PP is fully restored. So, now that that's going on, I'm going to, again, Ragnarok, that's kind of where we're at with this damage. 90 damage is just nothing to scoff at all. I'm going to have Garrett use a Nut on Big Bow, and then Big Bow can use a Vial on Blue so that Blue can cast Nereid, which is the water summon at second tier. All the little particles. Oh, there it is. Tough fight. I had to use a Water of Life, but it was doable. We had the items to be able to do so, so that always is refreshing. Yeah. So this is where we learn about elemental affinity within the game as well. This is gonna be Alex is gonna be like, Mercury is positively, you know, the counterpart to fire. Okay, so it is the Mercury Lighthouse that has that effect of being able to use Ply and giving the PP every turn. Like, I guess he asked this question, but it's like, how did they not know? Full power was bound by the water synergy of the lighthouse. And so basically, within the realms of the story, you know, Sedaros just kind of ignores how much power is within all the lighthouses. That Alex is silly. You let us fight him without helping. You never actually fight Alex in any of the games, which is just a shame. It'd be nice to fight him. Yeah, Alex is a water mage. If we did fight, then that'd be the issue. It would be that he also gets the benefits of the refillable PP. At least that's the logic within the story. And he can teleport. Very cool. Very useful ability. I wish that they really fleshed out like all the things that he's done to become who he is, because Alex is the big mastermind behind all of everything within the game, and so not really fleshing him out is kind of an issue. Yes, I do want to take the elemental stars. Now we need to pursue them through the rest of the game. I don't deserve to be a healer. She does deserve to be a healer. She's not awful. Mercury Lighthouse has been lit, but we can stop it. And that's how we're gonna have to do it. Oh man. Huh. So now there's healing waters in the fountain. Good to know. So the water of Hermes. Cool. And so that's essentially how we get through the rest of this. And then the elevator comes back up and we can take that all the way down to the bottom floor of the thing. And now if there's power in the lighthouse, it means that everything works. Which is nice. Everything comes together. Alright, all the way to the bottom. And then the elevator goes back up. So, yeah, so I really like that fight with Sataros. I really like the combat mechanics in the game. I like the maps, you know, swirl around. And I know it's like an older game and it doesn't look the greatest for sure. Like, I'm not going to say by any stretch of the imagination that this is a incredible looking game. But the things that it does with the limited animation is nice. Here, the game, for the first time, explains or does a thing where it pulls up in your menu. And that's just so that you can put the water in the bottle. But at no other point in the game have you needed to interact using an item like that. So that's the secret to putting the water in a bottle. When I was first playing this game, I didn't understand why it kept doing that. I was genuinely confused as to why, whoops, the game kept pulling up my menu for me. Oh man, sneezed. Sorry about that. And Venus comes through, killing all the oozes. I really like the summons. You know, I said it already, but very nice. 10 out of 10 would summon again. Frozen over rivers, cool as well. So yeah. One of the other things with the game that I've always really enjoyed is that you can kind of see around the world map. Maybe I should actually pull it up so you can see where we're at. You know how far we've come so far in the past few hours of playing the game. So here's the world map. Vale and Soul Sanctum are over here, and we're in the north, over by Emil. And that's Vault. Bilibin is over here, the barricade. And that's where we're at. So, anyway. But because of the way that the map kind of scrolls around, you can see little bits of like other parts of the world over on the side. Like through the mountain range, you can see that there are little tiny bits of, you know, architecture that hasn't been completely filled through. And it's always nice. I really like that they have those touches. It makes it feel like the world's very vast and you're only seeing a very small snippet of it. Alright, Bilibin Cave. We've already been through here. There's nothing very unique particularly about it. I don't know if you can retreat through here. I think it takes you to the wherever you entered from. Not so much where you're trying to get to. Yeah, we're just gonna hit them pretty hard. Kind of turbo through here. No point in running through at half speed. Some of the more fun classes in the game as well exist. We're gonna get to them pretty soon. Right now you have Swordsman on Isaac, who gets different abilities. He's got his Defender class now. We have Cutting Edge and Thorn. Cutting Edge is a very strong single target synergy move, and then Thorn. But you also have Restore, and you have well, you have Avoid. You can use that. It basically works as like repels in Pokemon, meaning that you don't fight any monsters while that's up. Very useful if you just don't want to fight anything. I can care less. It's kind of nice to get a little bit of XP, but it also gives you access to Ply, which is a good spell. It also gives Mia access to growth because she's going to be because she's a seer as compared to being a water seer, which gives her access to Froth actually. Not a bad trade-off, and it gives her Isaac's spells Cure and Cure Well. Yeah, so here's Thorn, and we'll see how strong it is, and then Mad Growth. So Plasma is coming down, hitting for 46 damage, 59 damage, and then Mad Growth comes out, hitting for 64. So Mad Growth is just a stronger ability, but now we have Briar, which is basically Thorn, just bigger. So we'll see if we can take advantage of that in the next fight. We'll see. I just kind of want to pull it out just so I can show. So Briar is like that, and I'm just going to defend with everybody else. If Briar comes out dealing 49 damage, 98, so a wide range of damage, but I think the bat resisted Briar, so good to know, but a very strong synergy move. I might actually keep Isaac in this class for a little while, just because it's a solid class. Gives him access to a really strong triple hitting move. You don't really need 5 hitting moves at the moment, and Mia's triple hitting move is also very strong. Froth is also pretty good, but you know, it could be better. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm just gonna Briar. There you go. Let's see. Oh man. Oops. I'm gonna turbo through. Gonna try and get to McKay's palace. Lord McCoy. Yep. Now we're gonna talk to him. We could have gone in earlier, but it's nice to talk to him now. He's going to give us a key, get a little bit of a cutscene. There are some items in here that we can pick up as well. Once we get reveal, we can find out which item cases have everything in them. Yeah, there we go. I don't think you are required to talk to Lord McCoy, but he definitely gives you a reward for doing so. And the chests, I don't remember exactly what's in every single chest, but I can save and restart to show you everything. Smoke bomb, and the other thing's just a little weird stand. Smoke bombs aren't super useful. They can be. You could probably use them to cast the delusion on Satiros to make sure that he can't physically harm you for a couple turns, but his synergy is what was really super strong about him. So that isn't super useful. Smoke bombs and sleep bombs I've never really seen a use for particularly. they're not very great. Elixirs are okay. Elixirs are alright, but it cures a lot of the big, or the minor things, stun, sleep, delusion, but it's not necessary. So yeah, there we go. And then I believe there's a second story. There's some books in here as well. It's like Sweetie's gifts. It's a bunch of gifts for his wife. Little bits of story elements here and there. Kind of nice. You can find out what he's got. Got a very small room for a king. At least I think so. But I could be wrong. I don't know how large and lavish rooms were back in the day. So, we come in. Now we get to talk to Lord McCoy. No warriors, you say? We've sent many a man to Colimo Forest, but not one has returned. These warriors, did you get a good look at them? It's a terrible accent, by the way, but I'm gonna do it. Come closer, laddie. Hey, are these the ones you're talking about? They're but children. And you expect me to believe that you can save Colima? Yes. Well, I'll grant, you're a brave lot. This key will get you past the barricades to the east. Even with the key, such wee lads as yourselves will never reach Colima. He's calling us children. That's just irritating, don't you think, he knows? No, it's fine. I don't care. No, it doesn't bother me. Well, don't let it get to you. We'll just have to prove we can handle this job, whatever it is. I mean, I guess. That's fine. So you decided to accept our little job? Yeah. Yeah, we can stand a chance. If you notice this, a lot of this conversation happens with Garrett and Ivan. So Mia's here, but she hasn't said anything. Again, you're not intended to have Mia at this point, but they still give her a space because, you know, they did factor in that there was the possibility that you can. But we need to continue forward. Everybody's angry. Yeah. So, that's essentially what happens here. And if you notice, like, Mia doesn't have a thought bubble over her head in that position, but she's not the one who's important. Or blue. Anyway, so, that's a thing. Now, we're just gonna... You know, we did that. We already knew we could get past the barricade. I'm going to see if I can equip people with any extra armor since we have that ability to do now. Ah, I forgot to... We have to make a quick stop back and email because their armor smith is awake now, so... So we're just going to take everyone out here. Just turbo through this. Ah, we got a turbo. Email will have new items, I believe, to pick up for armor and whatnot, which will be substantially better than anything that we could have had in Colima, or for up to this point from Bilibin. So we're gonna do that. I don't think we get any new artifacts. I think artifacts are automatically unlocked once you beat that portion. But if we do have new artifacts, then awesome. Not, you know, I already wasn't expecting anything new. But yeah. There you go. Alright, cool. So we're going to go over here. Thankfully that wasn't too hard of a trek. Everybody's doing better in the town. I don't really want to talk to any of them, but this old man, he's here. Was there nothing better? Did I just waste time? I did just waste time. It's good. I like doing that. But we have the Blessed Ankh. The Blessed Ankh. Which can seal away Synergy. Pretty useful. I'm actually going to give it to Mia. And then I'm just going to sell the Old Witch's one. And then I'm actually going to sell a couple of things in Isaac's inventory, since we don't need like leather armor anymore. We don't need some of the old stuff. I'm going to sell these sleep bombs, the elixir as well, and then some of these smoke bombs. Alright, cool. And then some armor. So tons of really good armor. We have the Synergy armor, which is the heavy armor version of the Adept's clothes. I think it also has a little bit higher of a PP bonus. But, so there's the leather armor. Let's see, do we have any artifacts? No, not yet. So, everybody's got circlets at the moment, I believe. Open helms are stronger than leather caps, so we're just going to put that on Garrett. I don't think anybody else can equip that. But the wooden caps, I think they're better than... Oh wow, wooden caps are just better than everything by one, but whatever. I mean, that's how we waste money, that's how it happens. Such is the way of things. But everybody can use it, which is good. Well, I didn't... You know what, I just wanted a game ticket, that was all it was. Give him a bronze shield. He doesn't need a wooden shield any longer, there's no point. Let's see, the Adept's clothes. I'll just give it to everybody. Might as well. Having extra PP is very nice. And again, no, I'm just gonna keep the other ones. Alright. And then I'm just gonna sell Ivan's old shirt, so that Garrett can give him his other Adept's clothes that I accidentally gave him. Yes, there we go. Alright, cool. Now everybody's got a little bit bigger of a monopool. Very good. Always nice to have. Might as well, you know, if we have got the option. Let's see. Pilgrim. So, Pilgrim is a different class than, let's see if I can swap over for... So he turns into a page, which gives him Astral Blast, which lets him shoot out things. And this kind of puts Garrett into a weird position, because Page is more... whereas Guard is a very, like, physical attack dealer. Page is more so like a buffer. And so that's what all his Synergy is about, buffing and debuffing. Which isn't bad, it's actually a pretty solid strategy of going through the game. But it switches Garrett's abilities with Ivan's, essentially. Where Ivan now, like, if you look at his HP, he's got 149 as compared to being as frail as he used to be. Whereas Garrett is much more frail. Whereas now, if I swap him over, hold on, give him a second, you know, as a Windseer, he's purely this glass cannon, when Buff is really beefy soldier tank that he can be. But if I swap him over to being a Wanderer, he gets all the HP back. Let's see, he's kind of weak right now. Whoops, wrong boot. Let's see, casting Cure on everybody. Whereas now, he's got about as much HP as Buff, but has tons more different magic that's available to him. And again, Astral Blast is a strong single target move, but these are all single target moves that he's going to have, like Volcano, Astral Blast, and then, you know, Delude and Weaken. The issue with classes in this game, even though it's fun to mess around with like the different combinations that you've got, is that if you use any of the Jinn or in the battle, then it makes your class swap. So it really harms you if you're using some of these fun classes as compared to just going you know, Isaac full Earth Elemental, Jin and stuff, or Mia full Water. It sucks because it throws it off. You also, again, because he's a single target enemy, or a single target, or because he's a buffer as compared to where he used to be, it kind of changes things. So Wind Slash, for instance, very cool move. Doesn't do a ton of damage though, but you're trading off his raw, you know, magical prowess for a little bit of extra. Oh man, I can't remember what I was gonna say. For a little bit of extra bulk. He has more defenses, more HP. It's good to have. It's good to take advantage of. I do like Garrett more as the physical tanky side, and Ivan being kind of like a squishy glass cannon, so I am going to swap them back. But sometimes it's just nice to really see, because the game isn't difficult enough where, like, making that decision to make them a glass cannon or anything, where that makes a huge difference. It's just about, like, how you like playing the game and what abilities you have. But, for instance, with, like, Isaac, small differences for playstyle can be taken into account. Like, oh, I really like Earthquake. I like the fact that he can do fun things like that, but why? There you go. I forgot you have to, like, move this over here a little bit. And we push the tree over. And you can mind read all the trees to see what they're thinking. And right now, I've never actually mind read any of the things on stream, but here it is, you know. And now that person's safe, so we'll get a hard nut as a reward, which increases defense by like 3 or something, which is nice. It's like an additional level of stat for free. So Briar's coming out. You have Fireball now on Garrett, which is a strong 5-hitting move as compared to let's see, I'm gonna hit Flare Wall and then I'll hit well, they're all gonna die. Yeah. Here, let me show. So Fireball's gonna hit the main enemy. So Fireball deals 93 damage. He was weak to that, but so we're gonna try that again. 88 damage, just about. Whereas Flare Wall does significantly less, about 50. So good to keep in mind as you're using the synergy to attack enemies. And then Froth, it's a decent move. It's not incredible. They're all resistant to water though, so what would normally be like a 35 damage move did 20. So, a little bit to keep in mind as we're going through this. Yeah, and then we're going to use some Briars, Plasmas, Mad Growths. And you don't get like an affinity bonus for using the same type of element that you are in terms of synergy, so good to keep in mind. Oh, we have a cutscene. I didn't go into Kolyma first, because I went into the Kolyma Forest, so we're going to have a cutscene here. Where, yeah, we'll just let this play through. Knocks everybody to the ground. And the game has factored in that Mia can be here. Like, if you notice, she actually had a dialogue here. Unlike in the other situation where she just kind of stood there and didn't even have a bubble over her head at some points. And again, with the flickering, shimmering things. And the sparkles. So this is the curse that's been turning people into trees. But the synergy that all 4 of them have is able to keep them alive as compared to just collapsing to this curse like everyone else has. Yes, the barrier saved them. And so this is where they're going to start. If I remember correctly, this is when they describe how synergy helps them in battle. Cool. Yes, but that's how we thought about synergy. Is normally that you would use it to do battle. But everybody's talking about how synergy is used when you concentrate to do spells and things like that. But it still, you can see like the passive buffs of it, of having it. You know, he mentions like critical hits in battle and stuff like that. Yeah, it definitely would be cool to use that at everything, at any time, but it's involuntary, so. Anyway, so the curse comes down again, and this time they're ready for it, and they start putting down their, putting up their bubbles on their own. I don't know if it's on their own, or if it's just, you know, it happens, and they're just able to withstand it. And so now the treant that's casting all the magic evils on them is, it's Tret, not Treant. Oh man, I can't believe I messed that up. I've been saying Treant this entire time. But yeah, Tret. And now Tret is just very angry with everything. And he's talking about how the forest will die, and how everyone else will die with them. All the people that have been turned to trees. Yeah. So we need to go and try and talk to Tret to fix him. No. There's nothing we can do. Yes. No, we're not giving up on Kolima. I was gonna say yes, that we had given up on them, but we're not gonna do that. Alright, cool. So, the forest is going to be right there. I don't want to go into the forest as of yet. There's a djinn, actually, or a genie, back there that we need to fight. So, I'm going to go over towards him. Just normal weak enemies are through here, so nothing incredible. Yeah, little armored rats aren't really doing very much, but go up, and then we have him. I think this is Granite? And Granite provides like an earthen shield for everybody to use for a turn, which is very convenient, very nice. Yeah. So we give Granite over to Mia, who becomes a diviner. Increasing her attack to 104, her defense, and her agility and her luck. Again, she still has access to Cure Poison and Restore, which is nice. And it just increases all her stats. She gets 40 HP, if I saw that correctly, from Granite. Yeah, almost 40 HP from getting that class upgrade. Very important to have. Very cool. One day I'll, once we get more genies, we'll be able to, I'll be able to just talk to you about classes a little bit more on a deeper level, an in-depth kind of deal. Yep, and then magic's just going to be the way that it is. I could mind read all these guys, but it's just not really worth it to me. I just don't want to, so I'm not going to. Over here on the side, skeletons and ghosts and stuff. Let's see. I think right here. Kolima Bridge. You need to get to the other side, but right now that person's a tree, so it just doesn't work. So this is how they lock you here. Anyway. So I'm just gonna have Garrett fireball everybody. Just easier that way. And now he's learned Storm Ray, which is a very strong triple hitting move. Like, wow, one of the best. So we'll see that in a second. Where Ray was doing a very small amount of damage, this one is now doing about 80, even on, or 61 to the weaker enemies, and almost 80 to the main enemy. Very strong spell, especially against people that are weak to it. It may be slightly weaker than oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of the spell. The plasma, but that's okay. And then we get a critical hit. So I'm just going to move this real quick, just because it gives us access to the rest of the place. But alas, we can't go that way. So Drone Bee is going to fight us. And actually, after this fight, I'm going to go, I'll be right back. I'm going to use the bathroom. So we'll be back in a moment. Alright, I'm back. So, let's continue on. So, through here, move that around that little log, come up here, push this one off to the side, walk around it. That also gives you access down to the bottom if you really need to get down over there, which is how you exit this zone if you don't have retreat for whatever reason. But Briar, again, these enemies aren't very strong. Probably just take them out with physical attacks at this point. Yeah, enemies are not very strong at all. So, yeah, that's where we're at. You can take the long way through here. I mean, you can even catch that net if you want. It's, I don't know, it's not, I mean, it's not like it'd be bad if you did. There's also a specific area you can stand. Ah, not there. But, oh, the troll. Hello. Hello, troll. He's gonna get messed up. Giant cleaver isn't gonna do anything to us today. Oops. Alright, cool. We got a net. Alright. We continue forward. And as you notice, if you notice the grass is starting to become more like browns, you're starting to get those kinds of like afternoon shades from it. And that's just, you know, a representation of like how the forest is kind of dying as we're going farther forward. And so we open up that pathway for this log to come over. And once we put the log in the water, it'll thankfully be useful for us to walk on so we can hop across. So I'm just going to use a fireball. I'm going to just defend and just have a fireball go out. It's just easier that way. There it is. Fireball coming out. Frisbee's dead, and so is the rat. And there it is. So, I do like the class that I am right now. I'm gonna actually trade Gust for Sleep, and then so this class is the same one that that Garrett was, but you have access to Gaia, which is a 3-hit move that in an area around you. So I mean, kind of cool. Very similar, I guess I should say, but not the greatest. Whereas with this, Ivan gets the spell Prism. So he's got Prism and Plasma, which at the moment both of them are both of those spells are only 3-hit moves. But once we get to a farther part in the game, those will become 5 range moves. So if we're fighting a lot of enemies like that, it might be wise for him to go that way. Because again, you don't get benefits from you don't gain a benefit from playing the game as a and only casting your own types of spells. The only benefit you get is from summons in that case. But even then, boss fights should probably be done on your main class as compared to the classes that you're just enjoying for fun. So, first puzzle is kind of simple. You do this. Just push these down. Oh, that's right. So you push that one down, push that one back up, and push that over the side. And then puzzle complete. Well, not complete. I gotta push this back. But that's essentially the pathway that you make so that you can bring the sluice gate back up. And then it fills up with water. You come this way, hop over, and this gives you an apple if I remember correctly. It might not be an apple. It might be something else. Ah, it's a fur coat. I think the apple I was thinking of is in the next forest that we go to. So this resists water. It's not great. It's cool on Garrett if he's really having that big struggle with water monsters. But we've already beat the Mercury Lighthouse, so that shouldn't be an issue for us. At least, you know, if that's to be believed at the moment. So we need to get to the other side. So we need to go drop that sluice gate again. Alright. So now that we got that going, we're going to go and fix this puzzle so that we can win. So push that over this way. And now that that lines up over there, that's fine the way it is. The puzzle on its own isn't very hard. It's getting the fur coat that takes a little bit of thinking, but it's not. Again, the puzzles in this game aren't very hard, and even in the Lost Age, they continue to be relatively simplistic. They're not, nothing's so difficult that, you know, you wouldn't be able to solve the problem. So, we're over here, trolls, kill them. So, there's that evil side of Tret as well. That doesn't want to talk to us. So, whoops. So if I want to pull up my Synergy, I need to go here and then Mind Raid. And again, he won't talk to us. We can go talk to Laurel, who's the one on the side. And she just wants to know who we are. And we're the ones who resisted it, so, you know, she's hoping that we can help to fix the guy. But we need to leave before the forest is destroyed. But I feel like if a forest gets destroyed, it's not like, don't get me wrong, terrible travesty, we don't want the forest to get destroyed, but it's not like if he dies, like the forest immediately just evaporates and, you know, like everything falls and traps us or anything. It's just the forest is gone now, right? So even if it does happen at the fast rate, like I don't see very much harm in staying around. I guess that's all I'm trying to say. Yeah, so Spider is attacking. Again, I might actually swap where the party's at, so that I can have Isaac and Ivan attack, and then Garrett and then Mia attack on their turns as well. There's nothing on this branch, so we have to continue forward. Stepping on these little cocoon leaves, I always saw them as spider cocoons. That's what I thought they were. But the stepping on those leaves will break them. So you need to keep that in mind. The path behind you will fall. And then there it is. The trolls recover HP. That's kind of nice. I like that they make that nod to like old fantasy trolls, you know, having the passive health regen. But these guys, they can do what they need to. Alright. Alright, and there's a Synergy Stone over there if I need it. So, what I'm going to do here is be greedy and pick up this healing ring. Healing rings can break, but you can equip as many as you want. So I'm going to give it to Big Bo and have him equip it, because sometimes we just need healing from his side, and that's a way to do it. Creepers! Take them out. Storm Ray, Flare Wall, the works. Yeah, 100 damage. So that's, again, it's a very strong spell as it's coming out. Alright. And we're going to keep going. Alright. Attacking spiders, attacking drone bees, just doing what we can. Take everybody out. Alright, and we learned Froth Sphere, which is the spell I was talking about with, you know, the Sirens were using Froth before. But Froth Sphere is a 5-hit move, which will be able to give her access to attacking everybody. Very good. Really good ability. It's also pretty strong. I also believe the spiders that are on there, if you jump on them, you just fall immediately. So don't do that. Fun to jump on them, but just don't do it. Alright. These little mazes, each of the little branches go out to different things as well. I don't know these maps by heart or anything. You know, I don't want anybody to presume that I do, but I at least know where everything, just whereabouts everything's at. For instance, I know that the Jupiter Djinn is at, or the Jupiter Genie is at the top of the right side. So, coming this way. I don't know if you can get there. Yeah, he's up here. There he is. Yeah, there he is. And then we have to fight this one, so. Alright, Jupiter Genie. And I'm just gonna try to mess him up. I'm not here to play games. Heat Wave him down. And then Froth Sphere is pretty strong, and it's also not gonna be resisted like Mad Growth will be. So Storm Ray comes down. Cutting edge. And he's dead. So yeah, again, we've already fought stronger bosses at this point in the game. By this point in the game, I should say. And so these guys is just, it's pretty simple. And then he gets Breeze, so now he's a magician, which makes him learn the impact spell, which increases the attack of one person on the team. That's a net. So this side doesn't really progress us farther, but it does give us the genie, which is good because we don't want to have to come back to backtrack to do this. Alright, and let's continue forward. There you go. There it is. Doing some damage. Being quite effective at what we're doing here. And we're just going to climb up to the top. And once we climb up to the top, we need to go to the center of the top to be able to fall down the middle pit that we've been seeing all throughout the tree. That's the big puzzle, is how we get to the heart of the tree. And we get some Vorpal Slash up in this business. Taking out both of the creepers in that turn. Very convenient, very efficient, doing what we need to do. So, the way we do it, easy, like this. Center is in that middle part, so whoop. Now you fall down every single little platform. right in on the bottom, break our legs, normal stuff. And now we move over to the front, since there's nowhere else for us to really go at this point. Alright. And I think these floating heads are absolutely terrifying. I thought they were terrifying even beforehand. But this just adds to it. So I'm going to boost Garrett's attack, and then I'm going to have him Heat Wave, and then Froth Sphere. Oh, so he's resistant to water. But weak to fire, so it's a good thing that we got Garrett here. But Buff is also weak to Earth, which I didn't know. Now I do. So I'm going to actually Briar right here, and then we're going to Storm Ray. More Heat Waves coming out, and then we're going to Mad Growth. Get some Briar going up in this business. Just doing a lot of damage with Synergy, making sure that we're keeping it up. And again, like we've taken bigger hits from Satiros already, so this is really not. I don't know. He's, even though Tret is strong, it's not like he's very frightening at the same time. I mean, his character, his aesthetic is frightening. His giant floating bald head, but he himself as an enemy isn't very scary. And there he falls. He goes. Yeah, he goes. He's fallen. Potion down. And that's it. And then he's just like, what? And so now he gets to leave the world. Not angry. Yeah, and now he's gonna try to release the curse on the people of Kolima, but his magic isn't very strong at all. So now we just have to accept that. And now we can heal them. I think the lines that Mia says in this, I could be wrong, but I think they just reappropriated some of the lines from Garrett to say to her. Shret's right there, dying. But we already know that water can be restored by using the Hermes water. And then he eats that. And the forest, which was dying, again, that like color, that afternoon kind of brown that was coming over everything, gets faded away, and all the life is coming back. Cure all the people of Kolima, and now he can. And if you remember, like just before, his little magic particles were very, very small. You can see that he's got all his life back. You have the fanfare coming through. Very nice. The Synergy Stones. Yeah. So Synergy is already kind of being seen as a thing that isn't, you know, it's a power that shouldn't be unleashed on the world. You know, the Synergy Stones being the big things. It's exacerbating all the problems and monsters. So she's able to, using her powers to find out what's going on through the rest of the world. Evil forest. All right. And then the songs of the forest change, which is nice. Very nice homely sound. I don't know if there's still enemies within the forest. I think there are, but maybe not. Maybe the enemies of the forest are gone, which is nice. Nope, just kidding. Still skeletons and willheads. I'm just gonna defend. I'll let somebody else deal with all the enemies. There you go. And there that is. Alright! Take them all out, fireball. Oh, except for the willhead 2. So that guy will fall to a normal attack. I'm just gonna have Kino's heal everybody up. Everybody's kind of weak. Might as well. Doesn't make any sense to just hold on to it. Alright, so that's what we're gonna do. Boop. Take that out. And there we go. And like I said before, we can push that log down. It lets us move over to the side. Just gives us access to the rest of the exit. And those guys are down. Just turboing through those enemies. It doesn't make any sense to fight them in slow motion. Alright. And we're going to keep going into Kolyma. And now that everybody's safe, I'm just going to check the item shops and everything to see where we're at. Yeah, adepts clothes, bronze shields. Now there's actual armlets as well, though. Because to get to Kolyma, you need to have beaten Email and Tret. This is just the next logical progression forward, so it's kind of nice. But yeah, some actual, like, really strong armors and stuff are here. So, getting our defenses and stats up. But still bronze shields, nothing incredible. Let's see. No armor artifacts yet. And then here are all the weapons that we sold them. Let's see, is there anything new? A broad axe, I think, is better than what we had before. Yeah, about 7 points stronger than what we had, and then 11 points stronger than the broad sword. So, Garrett can use that pretty effectively. Alright. And I don't think we get any rewards, if I remember correctly, from any of these guys in particular, so I'm just going to ignore them. We're just going to keep going forward, turboing through some of the stretches of road. And getting into Kolyma Bridge. Alright. And now we're going forward. Progressing into the next little phase of the game. There we go, fireball. And then I'll just frost figure the other ones. I mean, these are all the enemies from Email already too, so you know we've dealt with oozes before. They're all water, so we know that they're gonna be resistant to this. But Frost Sphere isn't a bad move. Again, it's kind of weak just because it's one of those 5-hitting moves. It's just the way that it works. But Fireball is pretty strong, so that counteracts it. Anyway, Fuchin Temple. Yeah, awesome. And now we talk to this guy. Yeah. We can mind read as well. And so, apparently there's an ancient prophecy that says something along the lines of, you know, people will die in this. That's the end of the world. The Synergy Stones falling from the sky, and then the Mercury Lighthouse being lit. Sorry, not lit. Which makes sense. Mercury Lighthouse being lit, definitely a bad thing. Don't want that. We need to cast Mind Read on him, see what he's thinking. Yes. Yes. So all these monks are really cool. You have to go through Mogal Forest. Alright. Yes, I will take the test. Alright. Anyway, so this is kind of showing that other people can learn, either that they're born with Synergy or they can learn how to use it over time and meditation, which is kind of cool. And then he's already like, yeah, come through, jumps over to the other side, and we get to go in through the tunnel. So Fuchin Falls Cave is pretty unique. I like this dungeon. The dragon's flame illuminates the path of truth in the darkness. So, oh, there's a mimic on that other side, so let's go fight the mimic real fast. I don't remember what he has. I'm not gonna lie. So Cutting Edge, Storm Ray, Heat Wave, and then Mad Growth, I think I'm gonna use. So he's resistant to wind, so he needs his, God, I don't know what he's weak to. Not water, though. So fire, probably. Yeah, weak to fire. Cutting Edge. Yeah. We're not changing it up too much. I'm just gonna keep using the same moves till we kill this mimic. Mimics aren't the strongest, so doing what we can to crush him is the best choice. There it is, and now he's dead. Game ticket. Alright, that was all we got from him. Alright, so we continue forward. Plus it's nice to get a little bit more XP for a harder boss. So, boop, boop. And so there are a few different entrances that we can use for this cave. I don't remember the right one at the moment. Not that one, obviously, now that we've gotten that far. So, these little spikes here. This room's supposed to be dark. It's supposed to be implied from the color scheme that it needs light for the room to turn on. But I always just thought it was a purple room for no reason. You know, because there are shadows in this game. You know, you can see shadows right here. But I think they could have done the layering a little different to signify that that's a dark room. But alas, they did not. So I already know the solution to the problem, so that's kind of cheating on my part, but we'll continue through the rest of the dungeon anyway, because there's still fun things. The secrets of Ki shall be learned through this. So the Orb of Force is Ki. It allows you to summon a majestic hand to punch shit with, or to things with. My apologies. Alright, and so we've already gotten past that part. That's the whole point of this dungeon, is to get to that. And those little spikes on the floor I decided to step on. But I think that the dungeon still has other items in it that I want to pick up, so we're going to go do that. We're not done just because I picked up the main item. Might as well solve the problem the way we were supposed to. So, let's do that. So anyway, that dark room is there. Once you put a Crimson Orb in the dragon, you'll see that there's a path right here that essentially shows you that magic path that I took before. Let's see. Oh, no. That's not a pathway. I thought it was. Had to double check. Alright. And so we take that down. And you don't want to step on the little spikies if you can avoid it, obviously. But sometimes you have to. Or you can do it to, you know, to speed up the process a little bit longer. But this just takes you to the long side of the cave. And some more spikies. And there's a Jupiter gem, which is nice. so we jump from here over here. There we go. I knew there was something in here that we needed to get. And fight time. And so we're gonna cutting edge, storm ray. You know, basically the old 1-2. You know, we don't change it up too much. Not because we don't want to. Oh, and he's weak to water. Good to know. So this is gonna do a lot of damage. Oh no, he's weak to earth. My apologies. And heat waves coming out. So it's weak to earth. So what we're gonna do is just briar him. Storm ray, obviously. Heat wave, and then mad growth again. But I think you should probably die in this round. Yeah. They don't have too much HP. The hardest part is actually keeping them, trying to kill them within 1 or 2 turns so that they don't run away. We don't want to give them that many options. And Zephyr is available to us now. So we give Zephyr over to Big Bow, I think. I think that's what we're going to do. Uh-oh. Wrong way. Gotta go down this way. There we go. Awesome. Make it down this way. And if you notice, it slowly just rotates you to the center of the log, which, you know, whatever. And lets us cross over those spikes without hurting ourselves. If I remember correctly, I need to do that? No, I don't need to do that. Let's first go up. Oh, there's the dragon. What went in the sockets? So that's on the other side. So the item that goes in the sockets is on this side. So that's what we're going to do. So we roll this first one up. Push that over this way. Hop over the side. Oops. Finger slip. And then, oh, skeleton. Just normal skeleton this time, not anything crazy. So he's going to go down. Too weak at this point. A lot of the enemies have gotten a lot stronger, so those guys will fall even to 2 of the weaker attacks in the game. Alright, so now we got the Crimson Eye. And now that we've got all that solved, the Crimson Eye thing, we've already seen the dragon. We know that something's missing from the sockets, and, you know, just like the Minotaurs from the Soul Sanctum. And there it is, Dragon's Eye. And so now you can see the pathway that you take from upstairs. So now it's visible. It's supposed to show you not a pathway, but I mean it is a pathway, but it's supposed to be the shadow of the pathway on top. And now that the lights are on, the reason you can see it is because it's casting the shadow on the ground. That's what it's supposed to look. It's what it's supposed to be, but it doesn't quite look like. I messed up. Oops. Yeah. So we're just gonna speed that through. Yeah, whatever. Jump over this way, jump over that way. I thought there was an item in here, but I must be thinking of one of the dungeons in the Lost Age. Yeah, I guess so. Oh well. Oh, no, there's an item. But, yeah, I was definitely thinking of a dungeon. Oh! No, I wasn't! That was the move with Aqua Sock. Oh. I was still thinking of that. Anyway, Arctic Blade's good. Now we can actually give the Elven Rapier over to Ivan, since it's going to be stronger than any of the other weapons you can equip at this point. Might as well. No downsides at all. And now we have more people with magical abilities. It's always good to have more people with magical abilities. Oh, just to show you the shadow. So you see that shadow. That's why it doesn't quite line up the way that you would expect it to, because that path is just casting a shadow on the ground. So yeah, when I was little, I didn't realize that was what was going on. So I was dumb and didn't realize that was a shadow. I was just like, why does this path not make any sense? That's dumb. But yeah. Some abstractions need to be made. Alright. And then we're gonna go down here. Alright, and that's that dungeon for you. It's all solved now. There you go. And that's the Fuchin Temple, which isn't too difficult of a dungeon, as you can see. I think I want to get to Altin, since Altin's kind of a hard place to get to. If I remember, I didn't really like that dungeon too much. Let's see. We're gonna set force to L. There we go. There we did it. We call it key, but it's synergy in our world. Yeah, and then we hear about how, like, not all monsters are evil, because they're more scared than anything else. And that they don't get lost there. So, we can follow them, because they'll tell us the right way to go. So, before we progress forward, I just want to make sure that I've got everything that I need. I want to make sure that I'm on top of things in terms of genies and stuff like that. So... So yeah, we should be good. We got everything. We get, through Mogal Forest, we'll be picking up another one. Alright, and then there's the monkey. So, we can use the force and it'll knock the monkey out and he'll tell us where to go. So we follow him, and that's the way that we get through this forest. Very simple. It's very similar to the other puzzles that we've just completed. We'll use catch. Oops. This game sometimes. Anyway. We're gonna try and take this out. I don't know how strong the bone fighters are, particularly, but we get a blizzard coming out. There's a lot of damage. Resistant to water. Weak to fire. Good to know. So, Vorpal Slash from Ivan. Lots of damage. Weak to wind. And there it is. Now level 15 soldier. Nice. So we want it. So yeah. So we already got Zephyr, but we'll be getting Quartz here soon too. Quartz is one of the wind genies. So we hit force. This will tell us where to go. Alright. If not, we kind of go in circles. The paths will just loop on endlessly if we follow the wrong path. Alright. These fights are random, and so that's just the way that they work. Oops. So that monkey goes that way. And there's another monkey. Oh, God. Wrong way. And then there's another ape in this one, if I remember correctly. So we want to go to the right, because both of those monkeys are taking us to a place. It's not like one of them's trying to lie to us and throw us away. Like, the one that went to the right, I believe he's taking us to an apple, which we can gain extra attack from. Which is always good. Having extra stats is way beneficial. So, take that. Use the attack increasing apple to increase our attack by 5. Very nice, very convenient. Good stuff. Overall, 10 out of 10 would do again. And now everybody's HP is starting to really, get pretty high. I mean, obviously, except for Ivan. Ivan doesn't get tons of HP. Just because of his class. He's very glass cannon-y, very frail. But it's starting to get offset now that we're getting farther into this game. So, Boop. We do that. I believe there's a small solution that we need to do. Force, hit that. No. There you go. Alright. And it's just a dirge. Single dirge. These guys can hurt a lot because they can do a fury attack on you. But as long as you don't get hit by that, you'll be fine. I believe we just... Oh, we actually fight this one. I thought we just got him for free. Yeah. So... This Venus Genie is casting Gaia on us. 3-hit move, not a whole lot of damage. I mean, 40 damage is a lot, but now that our HP is getting a lot more cushion from all the other Genie that we have, or the Jin, we're doing a lot better. He's still a jerk, but that's okay. We can handle that. And so we're just gonna try to finish him off. I think we should be getting him right there. Yeah. Level 15 Magician. And now we got a new Genie. Quartz. And Quartz is cool because now, unlike before where we needed to use Water of Lives all the time to heal ourselves, we don't need that. We can actually use Quartz to increase our HPs. Or not our HPs, to revive our dead party members. Very convenient as we're coming forward in this game. You don't need the Orb of Force to continue with the game either. That's an optional item. It's just nice to have. So let's see. There we go. Cool. And we don't even really need to do this either. It's just kind of, you know, a fun little puzzle if you want to have that guarantee that you're going the right way. And then Froth Sphere. There you go. Cool. Keep going forward. And now we can punch this one. And the monkey goes that way. If you go south, you don't go anywhere. You go this way, you find it. It takes out some trial and error from everybody, so that's nice. So some death heads. Not very strong. Now he's a defender. Oh. Alright, we got that one going south. That one going left. And that one's just an actual ape. Apes are pretty strong. We fought them before. We were grinding on them back in the olden days. They're definitely doable, but now that we actually have enough damage to take them out in a single turn, it's life's just a little bit easier and better. So I'm gonna go left first, since you know hidden items always fun. And then move that way and that way. All right, cool. Whoops. And we get some Elven shirts, and I believe the Elven shirt increases agility, so it helps you move faster. Good choice. Does it double agility? No, it times it by half. Increases your agility by 50%, which is nice. Very good for anybody who's really lacking it. Plus, it's a defensive boost. For the most part, you just want to use it on some of your slower units. Buff actually takes really good advantage of this. Yes, it throws off turn order if you particularly have like a turn order that you're set on, but if you're really that concerned about it, you can give them the turtle boots and offset that. Because then you're increasing it by half and taking away by half, which it doesn't totally match up to exactly, you know, when you take away half after adding 50%, it's not the same. So, you know, for instance, like 24 to 36, which is the way it's going to happen. But at least that offsets it, and you can have a little bit more defense. And, you know, if you want to attack before enemies attack, it makes a huge difference. Anyway, good item. Always recommend. Alright. Punch that guy out of the log. There you go. Goes into the next one. Cool. There you go. More death heads. Vorpal Slash coming out. So, yeah, he doesn't have Synergy anymore. And all the weapons have their powers being unleashed, which is very nice. And I believe here we're going to go south, but, you know, let's just punch it anyway. See where it's going to take us. We go south. Yeah. And simple stuff. And this is where there's basically no return at this point. We're on this side of the map. I mean, there is a return eventually, but once we go past here, we can't come back. So, it's just something to keep in mind as we're progressing through this game. Alright, and so there's an enemy in that trunk that I'm gonna run around in circles for first, because I do not want to go into this fight without any synergy. Undead Sword. I think that gives them HP. No. Ugh, lots of damage. Unfortunate. Yeah. So that's where we're at. Take that guy out. There it is. Alright. I think once I get my PP up to max, or close to max, I'll just have I'll have Mia and Isaac heal to offset the amount of damage that we've taken in the time from fighting. We could even actually eat the nuts that we've been getting as well. Just because there is a boss fight and I don't want to go into it with no HP. He is a pretty scary boss, pretty strong. Brings me flashbacks, brings me nightmares, you know. Well, and Arctic Blade with Blizzard. I think it's one thing to note that I did talk about Fuchin Temple looking a lot like a dungeon that I played in The Lost Age. And the game's aesthetics between each other are very similar, but there are definite overhauls that have happened in The Lost Age in terms of game length and even depth of puzzles and things like that. It's just The Lost Age, I feel, is just like a magnificently better game. It's like what this game, the first Golden Sun, could have been if they had the proper amount of time to get everything done. So, anyway. Yeah, and I'm just gonna turbo through that. Just turbo through that. Turboing through this. It's not even that I really want to grind particularly, I just... Nice, we blocked his impair. I know it doesn't really do very much, but... Alright, Briar... Fireball, and then Nitro. Since all of them have their MP, they're just really waiting on Ivan at this point. Again, oh, I got Plied Well. Good. Oh, I should probably just hit Avoid. Maybe. Cool. That should work. Can't punch this one. Yeah, that's weird. Can't punch that, but we're on our way up. And the reason we can't punch it is because boss time. There it is. The Killer Ape. Giant blue ape. He's a palette swap normal ape, but very strong. I don't like him very much. He is frightening. I'm actually going to impact on Garrett, and then I'm going to have Garrett use Forge to give everybody else strength, and then start off with some mad growth. So, ooh, 30 damage. So, again, less than Satiros, thankfully, but we've also got a lot more gear at this point now, too. And we got Forge coming around for everybody. Lots of attack. Alright. So, that's how it's going to work. And then we're going to boost party agility, and then I'm going to fever that guy. And for a turn, we're just going to have... excuse me. We're going to take less damage. That's what Granite's special ability is. And now everybody's agility's up by quite a bit. Yeah, it's a good thing we use that shield. It makes us take a significant amount less damage. I think it makes everything that comes into us, not that it takes like a set or like a raw amount less, but that it gives everybody resistance to that special ability. Gust. Now that we got that delusion, I'm going to use Kieran, and then I'm going to Flint. So he's not weak to wind or water, weak to fire, which I didn't pay attention to before. Ooh, 83 damage. That ransack. Kieran comes in, does the burn for 169, increasing Garrett's firepower. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use Fizz on that. Boost party res. And then I think what I'm going to do here is just Heat Wave, where she uses Quartz on some, just randomly. No in particular. Fizz on blue is always good. And then Quartz comes out, puts some Phoenix Feathers on him, but he doesn't need it. Bind, I think, seals Synergy. I'm pretty sure. And Killer Ape's just taking a lot of damage. But he's not delusional anymore. But now we could use Cybele, and then we'll get Procne to come in. And we're just going to Heat Wave. Whoops. And she is going to Tundra, since everything's there. But Procne is really cool. You get some mad damage there. And it's dead. Now we got a Douse drop, which lets us use Douse whenever we want. And now we're past the Mogal Woods. So that's the major, basically the entirety of the forest and that portion of that early portion of the game. Really wanted to get that done with. Right here we're going to be heading into the beginning of the mid game. I want to say I consider the mid game to be right about right from about right here until we get across the sea. Oh man, I wish I could remember the name of the city across the sea where you find Babby or Baby or Babai. I don't know. I've always called him Baby, because that's just what his name looks like. Could be Babby. But anyway, once we get over there, that's what, you know, once we get over there, it's different. The mulberries. But that up until that point, after we save him and get into the forest, that's about the mid-game. Once we get through the forest into the last desert, I think it's the Lamakan Desert? No, the Sohala Desert. Once we get into the Sohala Desert, that's late game. That's end game, basically. And by that point, we should basically be getting everything we need. The final dungeon, Venus Lighthouse, that's obviously the final dungeon. That's the last thing there, so obviously that'll be the latest game, but it's just how it happens. Yeah, alright. Alright, making stir fry. And look, there's a little guy right there. So what happens here is that the water is taken from that lady, you trigger her movement, and then once she gets over to right here, just about, she spills all her water on the ground. Which, as a kid, I thought that was very funny that she spilled her water in the way that she did. And then you cast frost on it, turns it into a giant ice pillar. And now, you can jump. And I'm actually going to make sure that all the Jin are set, just because I wanted to have her stuff. Very convenient that I didn't actually summon Cybele in that last one, but now we got Mist. Increasing HP and attack by a little bit. Nothing insane, but nice. I'm not going to complain. So now we're going to use Force. Knock that over. Okay. So Chi and Ki are different things within the story. So we step behind the line and then we use Force and then we knock the thing over. Oh. There it is. Okay, I aimed it the right way. Yeah. Do you know Kung Fu? No, I don't know Kung Fu. And then he goes tells his master about it. This is really nice because normally you don't get the this cutscene is missed if you don't have the Orb of Force. He's returning from the Llama Temple, and she's missing her boyfriend. So Synergy Stones have given her power, which is essentially what's going on in this. Feiji? Yeah, I think that might be what it is. Feiji is doing it. There you go. And then there's a flood in Altin, which we'll eventually get to. Yeah. Yeah. So, this little cutscene is going to go on for a little bit, and because of her powers of prophecy, she wants to go and try and save this guy. Master Faye. She does know Kung Fu, so she'll be able to be alright, which is good. But I hope that she has like another weapon, but other than just hands and a pole. And there it is. Boop. He's like, that isn't chi. This is ki, which is slightly different. Yes. So all these different temples have different abilities. different abilities by the different teachers, which is cool. Yeah. So the difference between Ki and Chi, at least within the game's logic, is that Ki is the mind's energy and Chi is the body's. Chi is totally based upon like how strong you are as a within your your bodily functions, whereas Ki can be done by your will power, which is awesome. And so now all these people are here. I don't remember if there's a... I think there's a shop here. Here's the Silk Road. So Shun... Is this Shun? I think this is Shun. But yeah, the Silk Road, there's a lot of allusions to like the, the Asian communities, if you couldn't tell by the music and the dress and everything of the characters here. A lot of allusion to that, and the Silk Road is the final like nail in that truth. So here's some silk robes, iron shields finally. I need to sell some stuff on Kinos. I'm gonna sell this empty bottle. No point in keeping it. And yeah, I'm gonna sell all these herbs. We don't need these so much. We now have stronger healing items. And then we're gonna buy the iron shield, which is stronger than bronze, as you can tell. It gives you an extra 8 points of defense, which is good. We don't want to be taking too much damage when we're going through here. Silver circlets, good. Stronger than what we've got for our casters. Alright, and then silk robes for Ivan and Mia. They don't really need the extra PP, they already have a really huge mana pool. So, not as necessary for them. Let's see. And I'm going to... I think I bought a circlet on him. Did I not buy a circlet? Oh, I guess I did. There you go. Alright. And then a China dress, which we can use. So this is a lot like the rings, where you can use its effect within battle as long as it's equipped. Which that weapon just isn't as great, so it's okay if we don't. These weapons are very strong, but I'd much rather keep the... God, I didn't want to buy that, because there are stronger weapons here now. I think the Battle Rapier, for instance, is just stronger than the Mace. The increase of 4 damage from the Arctic Blade just isn't worth it. The 5 damage, or the 13 damage from the Elven Rapier, maybe, but I'm gonna buy it for Ivan. But it's only 2 stronger than the Battle Mace. I'm not trying to eke out every little bit of damage that I possibly can, so it's okay if Garrett doesn't have his strongest ability for him, or his strongest weapon for him. But we're gonna continue. Yeah, we're strong warriors. And she wants us to go west, down through the Silk Road. Maybe you notice there is a little pathway through here that is, the Silk Road, for instance, in this game, that takes you to exactly where you need to go. But we don't really want to follow that the entire way. We're gonna wanna. Oops. We're gonna wanna kill these enemies first. There you go. We just want to kill this ape. I don't really want to waste too much PP on them. It's not, they're strong, yes, but they're not like super strong. So we want to go over here because right through this little area is there's a random chance to get to encounter level 16 Diviner. Alright. I'm using some of the weaker moves this time, but it's whatever. Right through here, the Fire Gym. So, Cutting Edge, Storm Ray, Heat Wave, Frost Sphere. We know that he's going to be weak against water, so might as well take advantage of that. didn't attack that round, so that's always really convenient for us. And then we're just going to do basically the same thing. And we felled the Mars gene. Alright. Alright. So now everybody's got three genies. Really good. I think there's a total of 7 that you can get in this game, and then in the Lost Stage, the second game in the series, you can get up to in the second one you can get up to 9, and you need all 9 to really progress through the game. I'm gonna just stand by R. Okay. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Power Bread. Oh, really good item. Increases your maximum amount of health. I'm gonna actually give it to Big Bo just because he's so frail. Normally I just kind of force feed Isaac all the buffs, but Big Bo definitely needs him. He's just useless without anything. Alright. She doesn't want to go to the Llama Temple, but she should. So I'm going to go into Altin, which is where the flood's at. Right here I think is where I'm going to stop the stream. We've been progressing pretty far. I wanted to go up to the Mercury Lighthouse, but I ended up going all the way up to Altin. So next time we will continue from Altin and we'll try to get all the way to Kale and finish up all the little side quests and things like that, which means going into Lunpa. If we can, I think we need a Shadow Orb for that, but whatever. We'll be doing all that next time. So if you have the ability, check it out. We'll be doing this at 10 o'clock next Wednesday. So yeah. All right. Well, anyway, take care, everybody. And this is Patrick signing off.